So a month or two ago, we started on a process which we called Journey Back to Becoming Superhost, And the backstory around this is the fact that we used to be Superhost and then we lost the Superhost status because we got distracted with other things, right? And now we're getting back the Superhost status. And the whole idea around this series is to show that there are specific things, there's a formula, there's a blueprint which you can follow, which I've already shared in one of the videos or two of those videos, yeah? And the whole idea is, if you can follow the blueprint in terms of becoming a great host, you will inevitably become a super host, right? And to prove the concept, what we wanted to do was to document the process of us being going from being crappy hosts to becoming super hosts again, right? So that you guys can see where we are, what we did, and how we improved over time until such a time that we become super hosts. Because Airbnb is a very, very important strategy for us, all right? But the whole thing around it is this. We wanted to demystify certain perceptions that you may have to say, like, you need to kill yourself to become a super host, you need to bend over and do flips and whatever to become a super host. No. Follow specific, simple rules and steps, and you will become a super host. Trick is this though, you need to be consistent in terms of how you go about doing so. And which leads me to my second point. My second point is this. Once you get into this flow, into this rhythm, right, you will inevitably become a good host or a super host. But as soon as you get to that point, it's important for you to start automating most of your processes so that the journey of you or the process of you becoming a super host is not something that is so time consuming that it takes all of your time, right? You still want to be able to do other things. You want to do more of the same in certain cases through hosting multiple properties. So you don't want one property to consume all of your time, right? So this is update number 2, I think, and we're going to keep giving you updates throughout this whole process so that you guys can understand where we were, how we improved, and where we will inevitably end up, which is becoming super host, because it's inevitable. Two things for me. It's the formula and consistency at which you execute on the formula, right? I've already shared the formula with you guys in terms of how you become a super host. Now it's just a question of the consistency at which you're going to apply the lessons learned. That's it. You'll inevitably become super host, and by extension, you will make more money through Airbnb. So I want to simplify this update as much as possible for you guys. So I'm going to follow a simple process in terms of my approach to it. The first will be me sharing our progress towards becoming super hosts, our overall progress in terms of becoming super hosts. And then I will get into more details around the feedback that we're getting from guests, which is contributing to us becoming super hosts. And then lastly, I will show you the impact of improved quality in service is on our occupancy rates, and by extension, how much money we now start to make. Okay, so in the last update on our progress to becoming super host was just over 2 months ago. We thought we would be able to release one of these videos every week or two, but we quickly realized that ratings take a bit of time to come in, and as a result, we needed to have a bigger time period that we were waiting, that we used in terms of assessing this. So instead of giving you guys an update every 2 weeks or so, to give you data which is going to be meaningful, we're going to be sharing an update every month or month and a half or 2 months or so that there's a significant change in terms of the last update that you guys have had. Otherwise, it loses impact in terms of what we're trying to do. Yeah. All right. So we're currently sitting at 4.5 overall rating. All right. If you look at where we used to be, we were at 4.2. So we've had a 0.3 star improvement since the last update, which for some people who are not familiar with Airbnb might seem small, but it is quite big. It's quite a big improvement, and you'll see the resulting stars that we've had to get in order for us to improve by this month within a period of just over 2 months. Okay. All right. So this is where we currently are. We're currently at 4.5 from 4.2, and everything else is irrelevant in terms of the discussion that we're currently having. Okay, sharp. Now I'm going to go into more details in terms of the feedback that we've been getting from some of our guests, and then give you guys a bit of context in terms of some of the key things that have come out for us. Okay. All right. Now, if we are looking at the overall quality, we've noticed that since the last update, we've been lucky enough to receive just 100% 5 stars. I think it's about 11 reviews that we've received since the last update, which is awesome. Over time, we're going to be getting more reviews because now we've decided to exclusively focus on Airbnb instead of also listing on booking.com, which we've had issues in the past with. So we are now currently on Airbnb, but this process started midway in terms of this time period. Okay, and then there's a bit of a comparison of us versus similar listings. As you can see, we are above average in terms of how well we're doing, which is awesome. We are about 23.6% higher quality in terms of ratings than similar listings, so that's awesome, right? And if you start going here, you notice that we've been getting some reviews from guests basically, and I'm going to start with the last one that we got, which was this one here, and then the one that came after that one was from this guest here. Okay, if you're looking at some of the details in terms of what this guest was saying, there were some very positive things. And one thing I've noticed with this, and which is also ironically something that we dropped the ball on, is for me, I've noticed that if you can cover 2 things and do them very well, you're going to do very, very well within Airbnb. And I've already said this in some of the videos that we've done on how to become a superstar or super host, Airbnb host. Yeah. All right. So these 2 things are cleanliness and communication. If you can master these 2 things, I think you're going to go a long way in terms of succeeding within the Airbnb space. Okay. And if you're getting a lot of feedback that says 1, your place is clean, and then 2, communication is fantastic, I think you're doing very well. Those are, for me, are the key indicators in terms of how well you're doing. All right. If you get a bit of context in terms of what the person is saying, great host, I loved everything about the place, aesthetically and hygienically pleasing. That's cleanliness, yeah. And I definitely recommend to stay home away from home. 10 out of 10. That's fantastic, yeah. And then from then, we started getting more of these 5 stars. There was quite a lot of them that we were getting, which is fantastic. Reading some of the feedback that we're getting from some of our guests was encouraging. And something I think I need to mention here, at some stage we started to automate some of our communication so that we would relieve some of the pressure and the demand from ourselves in terms of chatting to guests, setting them up in such a way that certain messages or certain communication would be sent to guests, based on the anticipated need or based on the anticipated time the guest would be coming in or doing something, you know. This way we didn't have to remember to send such messages, which is awesome, you know. And when it's sent to the guest doesn't even know that it's an automated message because of the way we designed them. They felt conversational to the guests, right? So as you can see, there's some more feedback around communication, more feedback around the space and how clean it is. So that's awesome. Okay, so as we're talking now, we are still at 5% in terms of what the overall rating that we're getting from our guests, so which is fantastic. Yeah, and just to beat this drama again, if you follow specific rules in terms of what you need to do for Airbnb, the results will then become predictable, which I'm quickly learning that this applies in just about every area of work or every area of business or anything, basically area of life. Basically, what you put in is what you get out, and if you have a formula and you are consistent in terms of applying and executing on that formula, you're going to get the results which you are looking for. Okay, and then some more feedback. As you can see, it's very positive feedback, right? Which is awesome. You know, it's very encouraging because they are highlighting some of the key things which are important for us. You know, communication is coming out strongly. Cleanliness is also coming out strongly. So we're very, very happy about this. You know, if we go into more of these guys, I think this was one of the ones that really stood out for me, you know. And what a beautiful place, lovely service, and kind people. I mean, to be thought of as kind because of the automation that you've put into your business is one of the best. Is one of the best compliments that you can get, because then you are building kindness by design. which for me is insane, you know. You're automating something in such a way that it feels authentic and it feels human, you know. And if you're looking at this guy too over here, also positive feedback that we're getting. And as I promised earlier, I want to show you guys the impact of having higher quality or becoming a super host in terms of your bottom line, you know, which is your occupancy rate, and by extension, how much money you actually start to make with your Airbnb relative to your competition, which is what I'm going to be sharing now. So if I go to occupancy and rates, I now see that for the last month, just the last month, okay, we are just under 43% higher occupancy than similar listings in the area, which is fantastic, right? So becoming a super host is not a means to an end in itself, as good as it feels. It's not the end goal, you know. And to get feedback that whatever work that you're putting in terms of the quality is also resulting in an increase in terms of your bottom line is also quite encouraging, you know. In certain cases, if you're looking at our occupancy rate, because we had dual listing on Airbnb and Booking.com up until the 15th or the 14th of October, you know, you realize that we've actually been doing better than this, because some of the bookings that we were getting were coming from a different platform, and as a result they were not seen as occupancy here on Airbnb. So that's awesome for us, you know. Yeah, but if you're looking at this, it's great, man. The change from the last update was 27.9% in terms of the occupancy improvement for us, you know. So as we continue to provide a better quality service for our guests, more and more guests are booking, because now Airbnb is pushing out our product to more people, more eyeballs, but more importantly, as they start to explore our reviews, now they're seeing that we're actually providing a consistently excellent service to our previous guests, and as a result, they now want to stay with us, which is fantastic. Right? I hope you guys find value in this, and the next video will be coming up, which is going to be update number 3 in terms of this whole process, and we'll keep releasing updates until such a time that we become Superhost, because by then we would have shown you guys that if you've got the formula in terms of what you need to do, which we've shared with you on our previous posts, and you are consistent in terms of executing on that formula, and wherever possible you automate your process, you've got a winning formula in terms of becoming Superhost, and by extension making more money for your business. My name is Seth. I hope you guys find value in this, and I will be releasing more videos on this. Sharp.